Alright, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom to you, Akim, that are teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Caleb from the GMS London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another lesson to edify the Lord's elect. As always, I'd like to begin by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, the real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to find Israelites that do look like the other nations, because Israel as a people has been scattered amongst all nations throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that is named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I want to do a lesson on this topic, because some of the brothers have done lessons on this, and this video was shared in a group chat last week, where you've got these Edomites twisting up the Bible and trying to make the narrative fit them, but the Bible doesn't actually say that. These people are actually in danger. Well, they're already in danger because they're Edomites, and the Most High is going to have great judgment upon the nation of Edom for to come. But basically, Esau's trying to wriggle out of his judgment and trying to hide the fact that he's Esau. Now he's trying to turn around and say God doesn't hate Esau, which is clean contrary to what the Bible teaches. So I'm just going to answer a couple of the points that they mentioned in this video. I'm not going to play the video because I don't want to get a strike, but Lord willing, I will put the link to this video in the description box below, if I can do that. But let's open up with Revelation, the 22nd chapter. Revelation, the 22nd chapter, from around about 18th verse says, Right, yeah. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, say it again, if any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of this book and of the prophecy, the Most High will take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. So you got these Edomites taken away from the book. Let's start with the basics, right? Because it's not hard to cut this bullshit doctrine. All right, the basics. Malachi chapter 1. Bread and butter scriptures. Where are we? Malachi. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. So this doesn't say the burden of the word of the Lord to every nation. It says specifically to Israel by Malachi, because the Most High is only dealing with Israel. How do we prove that? Just quickly by going to the Deuteronomy 7th chapter and 6th verse. It says, For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he hath sworn unto your fathers, hath Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt. Right? Know therefore that Yahweh thy power, he is the Most High, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. How do you get around that? Read that again, Deuteronomy 7 and 10. And repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. And Esau hates the Most High. He's trying to exalt himself above everything that is. known of the Most High, so that he sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Esau wants to eliminate Yahweh and Yahweh Shai from the equation and rule himself. So Esau hates the Most High. So going back to Malachi, from verse 1 and 1. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. That's clear as day. You can't sidestep, you can't tap dance around, you can't circumnavigate these scriptures. It says, and I hated, Malachi 1 and 3, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereof Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Slakia. But we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So these people are known as the wicked, because in the Bible you've got three classifications of men. You've got the sons of God, which is the Israelites. You've got the sons of men, which is the other nations. And you've got the sons of the wicked, which are the Edomites. The Most High created the Edomites to be the wicked. Psalms 58 verse 3 says, no, let me start from Psalm 64, Salakia. I'll go to 58 later. Psalms 64 verse 1, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Right? So there is a people who are known as the wicked, and this is the Edomites, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High will shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Because that's how America's going down in thermonuclear destruction from the ICBM missiles. The very weapon which these Edomites created is the weapon that the Most High is going to use to destroy them, because Yahushua said, he that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword. And Esau's blessing was of the sword, which he received from his father Isaac, who was Yahushua, if you can receive that in the reincarnation. But that's some heavy meat there. I don't know if, some of you might still be on the milk. That might be a bit heavy for you, but it is what it is. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. That's right. The Most High is going to make an example of Esau, and all the nations are going to fear when they see Esau's judgment come upon him. Although the other nations are going to get judged too, but Esau's the one nation that's going to be destroyed off the face of the earth, pertaining to Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. And that has not happened yet. Because they're trying to say, on that video, where we at? They were trying to say that every nation of people has been done away with except the Israelites. Now that's some bullshit right there, right? Because think about it, right? We are yet this day in our captivity. Let me get that. Bear with me. Right. Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8 says, again. Right, Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8, right? It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers which departed from the Lord our power. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life, give ear to understand wisdom. So the Most High, throughout all the scriptures, he was always talking to the nation of Israel. Now, there are some prophecies which were, specifically for the other nations, such as Obadiah 1 and 18, but the Most High has always been dealing with the nation of Israel. He have not dealt so with any other nation, right? Now, these Edomites on this video were trying to say that, the Edomites and every other nation except the Israelites have been eradicated from the face of the earth. So now all that's left are the Israelites, which is bullshit, right? Because how can we be yet this day in our captivity if all the other nations have been eliminated? So what, you trying to say that Israel is oppressing Israel in our own captivity? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. And that's why you can see these people are fucking liars, man. How can Israel be keeping Israel in our own captivity? It don't make no sense. What does Psalms 83 say? More lies of the serpent, man. Psalms 83 verse 1. Keep not silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up their head. So who are the enemies of Yahweh? The other nations, chiefly in the nation of Edom. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, who are the Lord's people, the Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, which is the so-called Arabs, of Moab, which is the so-called Chinese, and the Hagarenes, Jebal and Ammon, Ammon being the Japanese, and Amalek being the chief house of the nation of Esau, the Philistines, which are Hamites, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Right? So there you go. All these nations are working to keep the name of Israel out of remembrance. So how do you get around this precept? Oh, everyone's been done away with. Well, that's not true. And you can't pinpoint a time when the Ammonites were eradicated, where the Ishmaelites were eradicated, or even the Edomites were eradicated. You can't do that. And you know why you can't do that? Because Revelation 1, Salaki Boni. Right. Revelation, the first chapter, says 1 and verse 7, right? It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, being Yahushai, who's going to come with the angels to invade the earth with the chariots, which is what the world calls UFOs. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Right? So the people who pierced Yahushai on the cross nearly 2,000 years ago, they're going to be back in the flesh to see Yahushai return. So if the Edomites, which were the Romans, right, they pierced Yahushai's flesh 2,000 years ago, are there people walking around 2,000 years old? No, because the Bible proves that, right? How long is a man supposed to live? Well, an Israelite man is supposed to live forever because we're the sons of God, right? But we fell. We transgressed the law, statutes, and commandments. Then the Most High put a limit of 1,000 years, right? Now, the longest man to live was Methuselah, which lived 960 something years. I think it was, let me check that, how many years, just to be precise. 960. Yeah, Methuselah lived 100. And Genesis 5:27, and all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. So let me read that again. Genesis 5 verse 27 says, And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Right? So no man has lived 1,000 years, because the scriptures say a day with the Lord is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day. And the scriptures also said that in the day that you sin, you shall die, roughly paraphrasing. So, initially our life was capped at 1,000 years. But then in the days of Noah, the Most High reduced that to 120 years. And then later on, he reduced it to 70 years. So that's roughly about 70 years. Now, if you live longer than 70 years, you're pretty much usually jacked up. Your body's not very strong. You're struggling all the time. Because the Most High put a cap on our lives. But going back to my initial point, there's no man that has been walking the earth for 2,000 years since he pierced Yahushua on the cross, waiting to get his judgment. So this proves reincarnation is biblical, because these people, just like us, they live a life, they die, they go up to the spiritual realm, they rest for a short time, then they come back on the earth to receive their judgment. So, if the Edomites were done away with, how could these people come back in their lot to receive their judgment? It just doesn't make sense. See, there's so many avenues or ways you can break this doctrine, this bullshit doctrine that they're trying to push apart. Right? There's so many ways you can cut this and break this. It's just foolishness, man. So let's see what are they gonna try and make out that the Most High is a liar? It seems so. What else do we want? Let's get second Ezra's, right? Second Ezra's chapter 6, starting at verse 54. Second Ezra 6 and 54. Salakia. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him came the all, and the people whom thou hast chosen. All this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. And as for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. So that's how the Most High thinks about these other nations. They are nothing in his sight, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. Right? So that proves these other nations are still on the earth. But we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thine only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If now the world be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? And how long shall this endure? So my throat's a bit fucked up, but let's get what do we want? Bear with me, I'm going to find a precept. Romans 9:13. There's no sidestep in this one. Right, Romans 9 and verse 11. For the children not yet being born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High, according to election, might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So it is the will of Yahweh that Jacob would receive the birthright and all the blessings. And it is the will of Yahweh that Esau should be the people against whom he has indignation forever. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Straight up and down. No sidestepping that. What should we say then? What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. For he says to Moses, I will have mercy upon whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but the Most High showeth mercy. So you can't get around that. Romans 9:13 is straight up and down, man. So I'm going to end this lesson here because it's been 20 minutes already. But just to the point, man, you can't get around the truth, Esau, man. And this truth is crushing you to the point where we can't even upload videos anymore with Esau in the title, because YouTube has to strike it and take it down, because this truth has gotten out, man. That's why you got these two Edomites fucking trying to defend their bullshit doctrine, because they're getting slayed. They're getting hewed by the mouth of the prophets. Just one more precept, though, to close this out, because they're saying that all the other nations have been destroyed and only Israel is the nation that's remaining, right? Proof that that's bullshit. Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Right, it says, Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So how can Israel be the only nation alive when the Most High is saying, Arise ye and depart, for this is not our rest? Why are we not back in our land of Israel, if only the Israelites are left on the earth? If only the Israelites are left on earth, then why is this not the kingdom of heaven? Why are the Israelites not living forever? Where's King David and his throne? See, you can't answer these questions, man. You're not fit to pick up this book and to hold it in your hand and trying to break down scriptures like you know shit. You don't know shit, man. And the Most High is going to bring even greater judgment upon your asses for trying to teach such bullshit and lies. So yeah, man, just going to close this one out. So like it, my voice has been a bit rough throughout this video. But, you know, hopefully it's been an edifying lesson. So with that, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well. And shalom to Akim, teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. And until the next lesson, I do Lord willing, I say shalom, wa abba ba, wa kam yeshua, shalom for now.